Welcome to Sinful Sundays. This is the first of our Sinful Sundays, and in this series I will be going over all things 7 Deadly Sins, the game, and today I'm going to bring you 7 deadly tips for 7 deadly sins. Tip number 1 is how you can play the 7 deadly sins in full widescreen mode like I'm doing here. So first you're going to want to have BlueStacks, and if you see at the top of the bar there, I've got an app called Screen Rotation. When you download that, you'll be able to flip over, and as you saw, I selected in landscape mode, and that changes your vertical into landscape. And here I'm going to show you a battle so you can see what it looks like while playing in this view. So let me just get loaded in here, and we will take a look. Any day now. And there it is. Alright. So this is the full display mode in the battle. As you can see, it just pushes the screen out a little bit further. So everything's still rendered, everything still runs, it's not going to look any weird or anything like that. It's just going to be just like this. Super easy. You still play the game just like you normally would, but now you get the entirety of the game in widescreen. I find this really helpful because if you watch my review video, you know that I think the UI is really clunky. So being able to spread everything out and move around with my mouse is a lot more accurate than trying to play the game on the smaller screen on my phone with everything cramped together. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the 2 best words in the English language, which are free beer. Every day you're able to pour yourself 3 Vanya ales, and you can do that by going over to the keg in your tavern. My tavern has a skin on it, so it might not look the same for you, but it's all going to be in the same place, on the far right side of your bar. So you go over there, you pour yourself the 3 Vanya ales. Now you're probably asking yourself, I can't really drink those, so what's the point? It's a great question. You're going to go into your Heroes tab, you're going to go over to a hero, you're going to go to their affinity, and then you're gonna get them drunk. It's the next best thing to getting yourself drunk. They get a huge boost from this every day, and it's a lot easier to do it on for free rather than spending a ton of gold on cooking their favorite meals. So you can use this on any character. Obviously, as you get further and further up the affinity bar, the growth doesn't show as much. So I'm gonna go down to a hero that has 0 affinity, and I'll show you what the growth is. Now, it scales and gets progressively harder to reach the higher tiers. But at those higher tiers, you do get better rewards like weapons, costumes, and cosmetics. This strategy is how I've been able to gain so many SSR characters in so little time. So if you go into the coin shop, you can go over to the silver tab, and you can see that you could buy these heroes discounted for 20 silver coins. Or you could buy one of these vouchers. Now, you're guaranteed to get a gold hero or better with one of these vouchers. So if you scroll down, you can see there's about a 6% chance of getting SSR heroes. Now, if you spent your 20 coins on getting just a gold character, all you're going to get is a gold character. But if you spend your coins on the vouchers, there's a chance, 6% chance, of getting an SSR. That segues nicely into my next point, which is drop rates on banners. Now, if you're hunting for a specific hero, you can look at the drop rate. What I think is actually pretty cool is that this banner only has a 3% drop rate, so you have a better percentage chance of using one of those vouchers to pull an SSR. But you can see the percent chance, you can see it's higher for certain heroes, and it's these heroes on the front page, so check in each day and hunt for the hero that you want. Now, I know summoning costs a lot of diamonds, but one source that you may not have farmed yet is your challenges in your quests. So if you go through, you can see all these. I've completed all of these. I've earned all these diamonds. I've spent all these diamonds. But you also have these achievements here. Tons of stuff built up. You max out the achievements bar. It starts at, I believe, 15 or maybe 10 crystals, and then it gets progressively harder, but the rewards increase. The big one that I missed a lot was this combat challenges bar. So if you go down, you can see that on the map you do have those boss battles, but the boss battles themselves have mini achievements in them, including beating them without dying or beating them with a single hero. This is how I've generated the most diamonds in the game, and how I've been able to pull pretty consistently and get a really deep hero pool. I have seen so many posts asking about good heroes on the Reddit forums that I just wanted to make sure that I linked this for you. The link is going to be in the description below, but here's a tier list that is constantly updated and moderated. It's the one that I use and base all of my game information off of. What's nice too is you also have these built-in filters. You can filter out by the character's grade, the character's attribute, which allows you to see, help craft your team in a more balanced fashion. You can also filter by race and by effect. So if you're looking to create or find a best team with, these effects and this race or this rarity, this is probably the best tool for you to use in order to hunt that all down. I actually use this tool to craft my current team because I was having a ton of problems with Derriere in the arena. I couldn't figure out how to remove the buffs off of her, and by the time I figured it out, I could have just stacked up my Cruel Sun on my green Escanor to debuff her. But I didn't know that, even though I've been using Escanor forever. So this tool helped me figure that out, and I'm sure it'll help you figure out your team. Alright, last but absolutely not least, I'm going to be covering how to reroll in this game. So rerolling means that you can draw heroes that are going to be much higher level or rarity, and you can use that chart to determine which one you want. So what you're going to need to do, uninstall the game, reinstall the game, and I'm going to skip this intro. You don't need to watch all this, but when you complete the tutorial, you're going to receive 30 free draws. Now, this is your first intro draw. On this one, you can only draw those specific SSR heroes, so don't get bummed out. For the first probably 6 or 7 times that I re-rolled, I had no clue that you couldn't get the hero that I was re-rolling for, which was my green Escanor. So I uninstalled and reinstalled after this summon so many times. It was actually really embarrassing. So with this one, you can really only get a few characters. I don't think this one really matters too much because most of these SSRs are kind of junky and they're going to get replaced pretty quickly within your team. If you had to get one, then I would say your best is probably the green Meliodas, and just kind of hope from there. But yeah, here I got blue Bond. I'm not really going to use them, so it doesn't really matter. So this is your first draw. You do, however, get a second draw, and that's what I'm going to cover next. Alright, so after you complete all of the tutorial, go through Vanya. I'm sorry, clear the first mission before going to Vanya. You receive 30 diamonds. Now, you do have to clear the next 2 battles before you can summon again, which is a little frustrating, but honestly, it doesn't take that much time. So, again, I'm going to skip this so that you don't have to deal with this garbage. Hold on 1 second. So, yeah, you still have to do the mission. You have to follow through with everything, set your team, yada, yada, yada. Work your way through that. So it probably takes about, I'd say, 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes to do the full reroll. And then you get extra diamonds for going through the tutorial. And alright, here's where I'm going to skip. Alright, so now I've gone through. I am now in Vanya. I still can't summon yet because I have to walk to the circle. And then we're going to skip these cutscenes. Make sure you do that. That saves you some serious time. If you click on the screen in the top right corner, it'll show skip. And that is what you want to do. Save yourself the frustration because it is truly awful. And now it's going to force you to walk towards your next mission. But you do not have to follow. Come on, finish your talking, Hawk. So now you're walking, but you can interrupt it by back-clicking or using your finger to touch the screen. So now I'm going to draw here. This event, the Tide of Ambition, is going on. My favorite banner to pull on is Part 2, because I think the heroes there are the best. But with Tide of Ambition, on your second step, you get to draw heroes for 1 diamond. So this allows you to get 2 draws right off the bat. But again, the heroes on there might not be the heroes you want, and it might be harder to get them. So I'm going to start with my rolls now and see how I do. So this is typically a good sign. You want your Meliodas to be fired up, full demonic power, and usually that's how he destroys the Albion. Now, of course, you could skip this animation, but if you're like me, the suspense is absolutely worth it. Alright, let's see. Did I get anything good? And nope. Alright, all golds and commons. I'll live. Alright, so now step 2, I can summon again for 1 diamond. That's a pretty good deal. So that way you don't necessarily have to reset every single time. This will allow you to get at least 2 draws off before you have to do that all over again. Alright. Doesn't look like this one's going to be anything either. Yep. That's usually not good when Meliodas gets blasted out of the air. Unless Escanor comes to save him. Yeah, so same deal. Nothing really good. We'll skip here. And yeah. Sometimes those golds will class up into SSRs, but not all the time. Now, one thing I didn't show is part of your 30 days when you're a new gamer, or a new player rather, is you do get one part 1 SSR ticket. So this is a guaranteed SSR, so I'd recommend using it, seeing what you get, and hey, maybe you get really lucky and pull up to 3 SSRs to start the game. Now that would be amazing RNG, but you never know. Actually, in this way, you could get 4. I got 3, but it wasn't during the event where you got another 11 summon for 1 diamond when I was doing my rerolls. I think it took me about 4 hours to get the character that I wanted, so it took a lot of rolls. And they were even the rated up hero on the banner. It just took forever. So yeah, here, guaranteed SSR. Let's see if it's anything good. Part 1 I don't feel like has very good heroes. I think part 2 is pretty much where it's at for the moment. I'm sure more heroes will be released, so you know, if you're watching this video months down the road, don't blame me. Just make sure you pay attention to what's meta, pay attention to also check the tier list, and then check the drops. And the last thing that I want to cover is, if you do get heroes you want, how to save your account. So you go into settings, and then here you can choose to sync your data. You hit load, it comes up with a sync code, you set a password, and that way if you get heroes you really like, you can save it that way, and then you can pull it up on any other device. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to you, taught you something new. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.